afternoon, good evening, and welcome to BWTM Sports Gaming. If you haven't subscribed already, do take the moment to smash the like button as you come into the room. Make sure you smash the like button if you're regular. Smash the subscribe button if you haven't subscribed already, and make sure you go to the notification bell and you click all, so that makes sure you get all the latest boxing videos to your inbox, and you can join me live when I do a live show. I hope you all can hear me very well. I'm using a new pair of headphones because my old ones are knackered. Uh, so I'm using these ones. I hope the sound is good and clear on this. Anyway, so I could have done a load of shorts, and so I didn't. I just thought I'd just do a live show because I haven't done a live show in a while. Myself personally, I'd love to say I'm in great health. I'm not. I've got some issues with my knees, my foot, a lot of pain in them. So I am just resting at the moment on very strong medication, which causes me to be very drowsy and spend a lot of time sleeping. Hopefully, I get to see the doctor soon and we can get to the bottom of whatever the issue is. Just years of wear and tear, coaching cricket, I guess. And that's what happens when you do a lot of coaching, a lot of high impact sport, particularly at my age now. I'm just a little older now, closer to 50, so I just may have to make some adjustments into how I coach. I hope you've had a moment to take a look at our cricket channel, ECSM Cricket. If you haven't already, you can get to see a lot of the stuff that I was doing, that I do in England, and particularly stuff in the academy I have in Nigeria, which I really do enjoy have enjoyed doing. Got a young lady there that I've been mentoring and coaching. She's coming on quite nicely, and you'll get to see a lot of stuff that I've done previously. Yeah, some really interesting stuff if you didn't know the backstory. ECSM Cricket. I ask all of my subscribers to get across there and check it out and see what I'm doing over there. I'm updating that on a weekly basis. Also, BWTM Gaming. Interesting fact: YouTube took my channel down about 6 months ago. Don't ask me why. How you doing? Took my channel down about 6 months ago. They said to me that I'd violated some stuff. Well, okay, I want to know exactly what I violated, and I want to know exactly what I've violated, and then found out afterwards that my channel was reinstated. I've asked them, YouTube, what was wrong with my channel. They reinstated it and said, like, after 6 months, like they'd done nothing wrong. So it shows you about the inconsistency of these things and these people, and the challenges I've faced over the years. But we continue to do what we have to do. We are not distracted. We keep going. So that's that. So that's out of the way. So BWTM Gaming is there. So if you're into like Football Manager, I'm still there uploading Football Manager. FC26 I know has already come out. I've bought the career mode, so I standard edition because I don't do Ultimate Team. So I've uploaded. I'll be starting this week. End. I think the end of this week is when FC26 comes out. Shout out to Marky Bier. He contributed to the FC26. FM26 is going to come out as well. I may divide it between channels. How we got here. So yeah, hello John, how are we doing? I've got a couple of. I'm not going to take my time to acknowledge the people in the comment section that are irrelevant. Shout out to John Smith. Shout out to John Smith. On the subject of this, I'm going to go on to do a chat about many things. First of all, I want to talk about irrelevant people. Yeah, irrelevant people. When I mean irrelevant, I mean literally irrelevant. People who have got nothing better to do with their lives. People who are so insular. Probably can't even spell the word insular. So insular, so insignificant that they they have nothing better to do than to come on and sit on, wait until I come on a video, or they do a YouTube video and they come on to make insignificant comments. Somehow they think that their comments are going to affect and change. Like, I've been doing this 10 years, 15 years. After 3 million views or 3.5 million views on 2 channels, do you really think now you insignificant person is going to come along and make a comment on my channel that's going to make me turn around and pay attention to you? Really not gonna. Really not gonna pay you any time whatsoever. Built a really good following on the channel. Spent a lot of time. Met a lot of important people. Met a lot of people within boxing and in life through this channel, through this way of networking, and I'm very, very, very happy for that. So if you think you're going to come on this channel and you think you're going to leave a comment and I'm suddenly going to react to you, then you're a bigger fool than I thought you were. And you really need to get a life, get a job, do something with your life, achieve something in life, you know? So do that. That's my message to you. Moving swiftly on, before I get into, because this is about reactions and thoughts, and I hope this inspires other people within the media world. It's become a trend over the 10 years of me doing this that if I get a prediction right, there's a very few people that turn up and turn around and say, well done, congratulations. If I get a prediction wrong, you'll see all these jokers that I've never seen, never heard of, that like out of nowhere, oh, you got that wrong. I'm like, yeah, I got it wrong, but how many other people will get wrong? So it's like these people, like, they've got no life, they've got no balance to their lives. I just think about them. They come in with these funny names. They don't even come with their real name. They come with these funny names, and then start saying, "Oh, you got it wrong." Nah, 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 you got it wrong. And I'm thinking to myself, are you okay? Like, it's a boxing match. Somebody won, somebody lost. This time I got it wrong, and I get it really wrong. And when I get it wrong, I say, "Yeah, I got it wrong," and I use the opportunity to learn and educate myself on things. And as I said in my post fight, looking back on Crawford versus Canelo, I should have really been a little bit more wiser, because I saw Sugar Shane Mosley jump up 2 weight divisions. He was a lightweight. De La Hoya's fighting a welterweight. Mosley jumped up 2 weight divisions and he beat De La Hoya. And I thought, oh, De La Hoya punches so hard, he's got a big left hook and stuff. And it was prime De La Hoya. And Mosley stepped up 2 weight divisions and he beat De La Hoya. Mosley was at lightweight. He went up 2 weight divisions and he beat De La Hoya. So it's possible the guy could jump up 2 weight divisions and do it. You know? So this is not making excuses. You know, for me, all these things are about education and learning a little bit more. But there were some things in that fight, I'm not going to lie, looking back at the fight and looking at the Crawford fight, looking back at it, there were things I saw in there that were disturbing. Those who are coming into the room now, please do smash the like button. It's very you guys that come in the room, please do smash the like button. Smash the like button, because obviously videos like this get shared, so that helps. I looked at this fight, and one thing I didn't understand, and still don't understand, is the impact Crawford's punches was having on Canelo. Like, there was two punches he hit Canelo with. Canelo got hit with a shot, yeah? He was like, what the hell is that? If you go back and watch the tape, you see where he caught. So what the hell is that? What is that? And it's like, the sort of reactions, the way Canelo was reacting to the punches. It's not like He stood in the pocket with Canelo, with Crawford, and he let his shots go. But the punches he was getting hit with, like, shit, what is that? And look, I'm not trying to discredit Crawford for 1 second here, but you can see it on the video yourself. You can see it in the fight. He was getting it with shots, and he was doing some funny things, looking away. When he was getting the shots, like, what the hell is that? But you know what? He would know. He would know in term. I'm going to come back to the comment section in a minute. I will do, please. Just give me a moment. He would know as a professional boxer for all these years fighting guys. He never reacted like when GGG hit him. He never reacted like that when Kovalev hit him. He never reacted like that when Jacobs hit him like that. So I'm wondering, he got hit like that, and he was like, shit. And I'm wondering, I don't know. But you know what? When you get paid that amount of money, as Canelo did for that fight, what immediate goes into my mind is, you know what? You took this fight, you accepted this fight, you signed the contract, shut up, take the money, and take your licks. That's what I kind of picked up from that. Whatever that may be, because it's just odd the way he was reacting to them punches. Speed kills, right? And I'm not debating that, but are we suggesting now that Crawford hits harder than Golovkin? Or was it the fact the speed coming up that he couldn't see the punches in that way? I don't know. I don't know. So I don't understand. I don't understand. Please, moderators that are in the room, if there's any clowns in the room, please remove the clowns out of the room. So I'm just that was my thoughts on that. Great fight though. I felt great for Crawford. Of course, I was the first one in the UK to get an interview with Crawford, do 2 back-to-back interviews with Crawford. First time is after he fought Prescott. The second time was just before he was going to fight Ricky Burns. So at that point, I knew Crawford would be a great fighter, but I didn't realize he would be that great a fighter. But then we've had a list of hosts of fighters who've gone on to be champions, unified champions, undisputed champions. Alexander Usyk being another, Dimitri Bivol being another. The list goes on. Tyson Fury, Keith Thurman. The list goes on and on. Even Evander Holyfield. So the list goes on and on. Please do smash the like button as you come in the room. It doesn't take 5 seconds to smash the like button. Please do smash the like button. I really appreciate it. So one bit after the other, I'm gonna go through these videos. I'm gonna go through and kind of go through the comments and at the same time kind of react at the same time. Thoughts: Eubank versus Benn 2. Look, I'm not gonna hold back on this. I love Chris Eubank Jr. for a number of reasons, but I knew Chris when I used to live in Hove. And I was still boxing. I knew Chris Senior. I knew Chris Eubank Senior. So when I used to go for my runs in the evening, or runs in the evening, I used to start my run. I used to live in Hove, so I was running Hove. Anyone who's been to Brighton, you probably want, like, from Hove into Brighton, past the pier, down to the marina, and run back. And then, if you've ever been to Brighton, and you've ever walked down the steps from West Street, and you go down the steps onto the beach, there's about, I don't know, 40 steps. My trainer would make me run up, so like a Saturday morning, we'd jog into Hove. My trainer would meet me in Brighton, and we'd jog up, and I'd do the jog, nice steady jog, and then we'd go up and down the steps 10 times, up and down the steps, 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 up and down the steps. When we finish the steps, then turn, spin, turn, and jog back to Hove. Yeah. My trainer, Paul, shout out to Paul. I don't know where he is today. Great trainer, great guy. Yeah, something like 5'3" was, but he was a great trainer. One of his famous quotes for me is, he said to me once, he said, keep your right hand up. He said, keep your right hand up, he used to say to me, and I'd say, why? He said, you asking me why you keep your hand out? He then hold on a second. He said, Gary, hold this a second. Hold me time in a second. He put his gum shield in his mouth, yeah. I don't know where the guy had a gum shield from, trying to put the gum shield in his mouth. I'll show you why you got to keep your right hand up. I'll show you why. Short guy, 5'3", something like that, yeah. I'll show you why you keep your right hand up. You got in the ring. So, you come here, right? So get your hand, get your gloves up. Go on. And he kept slipping under the jab, right? Slipping under the jab and trying to throw this lift hook over the top. And that's why you keep your hand up. Get the left hook. You gotta love Paul, man. Paul was an absolute legend. A legend. They compared my style to Howard Eastman. It was horrible. They compared my style, and Howard and Chris Eubank Sr. were close to the boxing gym, and they always used to compare my style to Howard. He said, "You're all lazy, mate. You box like Howard Eastman. So much talent, long jab, but you box like Eastman, and he's bloody lazy." He tell me. So I'm not having that in my gym. That's what he used to say to me, Paul. Absolute legendary. I probably, I mean, I had Ronnie Rush, which was Barry Jones's trainer, and Steve Robinson's trainer. I had Barry Jones as my Barry Jones. I had Ronnie Rush as my trainer. Probably the worst trainer I had, but the best trainer in terms of, obviously I was preparing for professional boxing, but yeah. Wow, memories. But yeah, Brighton, running along the seafront. I don't even know why I'm telling you that story. I don't even know how I got to that story. But anyway, let's move on. I know what story was connecting to something, but I don't know why I said that story. I can't remember why I told you that story. But anyway. So, yes, it was Eubank versus Benn, the rematch. The first fight was built up over a period of years. And it was a fight the public wanted to see because of Benn and Eubank. And it was a rivalry, and the rivalry became inflamed because of the whole thing with the drug scandal and the PEDs with Benn. So that just got things got completely out of control, and so therefore, or in control, because it made it a good script for the fight, right? And then you had the drama in the background between Eubank and his dad as well, and yeah. Anyway, we had the fight. It was a tremendous fight. The build up, everything. It was WWE at its finest. The way Chris Eubank Sr. If you go back and play it again, the way Eubank Sr. stepped out the car, it was literally something out of SmackDown versus Raw. If you've ever played SmackDown versus Raw, or Know Your Role, Shut Your Mouth on the PlayStation 2, and you used to have these cutscenes, that literally was like a cutscene at the WWE. And I swear, I said this years ago, that boxing was turned into WWE. We are in the WWE universe. There is no boxing no more. It is the WWE universe. It is the WWE universe. We've gone from a great fight between Crawford and Canelo to Tank Davis versus Jake Paul. And let me just give you something else to consider. There is a very strong rumor going around that Jake Paul has already arranged his next fight. And his next fight is going to be against none other than Anthony AJ Joshua. Yes, Joshua's next fight is set to be against Jake Paul. Obviously, that Jake Paul has to beat Gervonta Davis. So can you imagine a current world champion a face of boxing, a pound for pound legitimate boxer who up to this date hasn't had a signature fight, a career defining fight, but his career defining fight is going to be against Jake Paul. Can you imagine? Like, Jake Paul is stepping in the ring with a current champion of the world. Forget the weights at the moment, just for a second. He's stepping in with an unbeaten, although some would say Laurent Roach beat Tank Davis, an unbeaten, on paper, Gervonta Davis against Jake Paul. So Gervonta Davis apparently is going to be fighting with 12-ounce gloves. He usually fights in 8-ounce gloves or 10-ounce gloves in his division. So it's 12-ounce gloves. So he won't be able to punch as hard as he punches in 8-ounce or 10-ounce gloves. So that's 2 pounds more. It's more padding. It's a 10-round fight. 3-minute rounds. This fight is a joke. You've got a lightweight fighting a heavyweight, because Jake's last fight was a heavyweight. I'm telling you, it's only when somebody gets seriously hurt that this crap will stop. But let me add to this point. I'm of the opinion, watching the boxing world now and the way the boxing world is conducting itself, and has conducted itself for years, people don't care. They do not care about boxers. They don't care. People care more for promoters. People care more about managers. And people care more about soundbites and highlight reels and the fights. They don't care for the boxers, because when the boxers speak out in pain, when the boxers speak out in truth, when the boxers speak out in grief, they're met with mockery, they're met with character assassinations, they're met with ignorance, they're met with this guy's mad, this guy's crazy, this guy's foolish, this guy's talking rubbish. But whatever the promoters say is the gospel. Whatever the promoters say is right. But you don't get it. It's the promoter's job to promote. So they will feed you any amount of rubbish for you to buy the fight. That is what their job is to do, to promote. The fighter's job is to fight. But if the fighter is saying, look, this is not right, that's not right, this is not right, why should the fighters always get investigated and criticized, but the promoters don't get criticized? Why is it the media outlets don't talk to the promoters about the way they handle fighters, or the things they do, which clearly look like they're breaching, or they're doing things that are shady? Why are these judges never interviewed? Why don't we interview these judges? Why don't we talk to these judges who give these decisions, and we say to them, hey, how did you come to that decision? We the boxing community, invest money to see our fighters do the best they can. We hope and pray that they have good training camps, they're eating good food, they're sleeping well, they've got good trainers, and everything's going well. Then you've got these three idiots that are allowed to make incompetent and are corrupt, and have been and can be corrupted. The promoters should not know who the judges are on the night. The promoters should never know who the judges are. If it were me, the judges would be faceless, meaning that they're in a room, you don't see their faces, and the promoters don't know who the judges are. I would get rid of all the judges in world boxing today, and I would have judges that you can't see their face. So neither the promoter can influence or the manager cannot influence them. There's no brown paper bags, and there are brown paper bags. There's got to be, because some of the decisions these judges are making don't make sense whatsoever. Independent, and when I mean independent, literally, there's a team of these judges that come in and go to these fights, and they turn up, they come in for a secret door, and they go out, they go through come in a back door, and they go out a back door. The promoters come in one way, and the managers come in one way, the judges come in another way. And the two shall not meet. And you won't know who the judges are. And their job is one thing, judge the fights. Or they're in a secure room where they watch the fights round by round, they input their results, and if their results at the end of fights are not consistent, bang, they lose their jobs. And that's how I would sort the judging system out. That would fix a problem right there. So they cannot be corrupted. Even these drug tests that are going on at the moment. A whole heap of these drug tests going on. This guy's got PEDs. That guy's PED. I've said it before. Once you're in the hands of people who are corruptible or corrupted, and their willpower and they're corruptible, and they can corrupt, because they themselves are corrupted, then you can't trust a PED outcome, because it can be used as a character assassination. You don't want to take this fight, you don't want to do as I say, that's okay, I'll mess up your career. I know somebody at the lab that can do this and that. Listen, it happens. I know it happens. I'm sure it happens. Because those sort of lines come from people that are in positions of power. If you do as I say, I will do X, Y, and Z. If you don't do what I say, I know this person, that person. If you don't take this fight, then this and this will happen with consequences. Don't tell me that crap can't happen, because it can. Then I'm sure of it can happen. This is stuff that people don't want to talk about and people don't want to hear. I understand people want to see fights, but they don't care about boxers. They don't really care about boxers. Well, that's what I noticed. They don't care about boxers. They don't care about the well-being of boxers. They care about what the promoter's got to say. And how can the promoter be more important than the boxer? When did that become right? When did that become right? Mike Tyson. When people talk about Mike Tyson, they don't think about the promoter. Don King comes into it because he was his own character. He was, in terms of promotion, he was the greatest. But Mike Tyson was the fighter. Don King wasn't bigger than Mike Tyson. Don King was a promoter and he had his place. But Mike Tyson was Mike Tyson. Same with Ali, Sugar Ray Leonard, Thomas Hearns, Duran. The list goes on of fighters. The promoter had its place, and we all knew what the promoter's job was to do, promote the fight, sure. But the fighters was the most important thing. It seems today that the promoters seem to be more important than the fighters. How can that be right? And I blame our media. One guy had the balls the other day to stand up to Dana White and ask questions. How many of our media have got the balls to get up and stand up and say what that gentleman said to Dana White about the Muhammad Ali fight? How many of our media will do that? Very few of them. Very few of them. And it's something that we need to look at. And you know what? Guess what? There'll be another tragedy in boxing. We'll take a moment and we'll go, oh dear, that wasn't right. This should have happened. That would have happened. This should happen. Ain't a shit gonna get done. Well, fights will happen. Bad decisions will be called. Fighters' careers will be ruined because of a poor decision by 3 judges. But guess what? We'll complain about it. We'll moan about it. We'll groan about it. 3 months later, a month later, another fight will come up and we'll be watching that fight. It's just abuse after abuse after abuse after abuse, and we've been so desensitized by boxing fans, and our media don't do us any favors, because the majority of them are in the bag of the promoters anyway, the significant ones anyway. So they control what to say, what to say, what can be said, what can't be said. So you look at all these interviews, they're all one of a nonsense, very scripted. When I mean scripted is that They ask questions, but they're not going to ask questions that are going to aggravate the promoter and put the promoter out of joint. Therefore, putting them in a position where they will no longer be able to record them again. And I can tell you that firsthand. So when I hear Eubank up there saying what he's saying, and he's been ridiculed, and Talk Sport now, I begin to wonder about Talk Sport, where they ask questions. Yes, they ask questions, but I wonder what agenda Talk Sport are on. Are they independent, or are they influenced? Because, for example, you have Gareth A. Davis, not a boxer. You have Ade, not a boxer. You have Darren Benn, definitely not a boxer. You have what's this guy's name? I can't remember the Scottish guy's name again. Really like him. But all these guys, Simon Jordan, not a boxer. Spencer, Oliver Spence, he was a former boxer. Spencer Oliver, sorry. He's a former boxer. But he seems to have tight affiliations with Anthony Joshua. So he can be, I won't say influenced, but you can see where his allegiance lies. Duke McKenzie, 3-weight world champion, so he was better than Spencer Oliver, more accomplished than Spencer Oliver, world champion. He's a little mouse he's like a mouse in the room that they pull out every so often. Oh, come out, Duke, and have your little 5 minutes of fun. Come out, Duke, and say what we've got to say. He's the guy they should be listening to most. So that just tells you what that setup is at Talk Sport. Duke McKenzie's the guy who'll say to you, this is how it is. He turned out and told everyone, Cannelo's going to get battered by Crawford. And I thought, Duke, you're mad on this one. He was right. He called it. That was one thing I disagree with Duke on. He called that, he said it is, and what happened? Duke McKenzie needs a bigger role within Talk Sport if they really want to say that they are. Because what I believe is needed in the boxing world, particularly in the UK, needed a magazine show of people who've boxed, who understand the sport, and are not going to be influenced by press conferences and free tickets, and forget all of that stuff. Just talk the truth. Speak your truth. Right or wrong, you just speak your truth. Don't be influenced by what the promoter's got to say, or what the potential of me being on the zone, or forget all that stuff. But I told you all years ago that I see a world where YouTubers end up being on these platforms. Has it not happened? It has happened, people. It has happened. So, those are my thoughts on those things. Let's go and let's answer these questions. Let's go for these questions. Let's go for these thoughts. All right. So yeah, watch the Eubank presser. Hearn is a scumbag using Hatton's name to try and get this point across with Eubank. Okay, let's put this into 3 points. First of all, again, stunned, shocked at the passing of Ricky Hatton. I will say this much, that again, it refers back to my point I said earlier. People don't care. People don't care. People only seem to care because of a guilty conscience or a camera stuck up in your face. But they don't care. Look, here's an example of people that don't care. Yeah? I'll give you a perfect example, yeah? I had something called chronic fatigue syndrome. And I wouldn't wish it on my enemy. The pain inside your body is like if you've been lifting weights for the first day. Right? Now you've gone lift weights for the first day, the next morning you get that pain that you get. But that pain lives with you. It is excruciating pain. The pain and the helplessness. And when you try to talk to people about it, because you're tired and exhausted, they call you careless, they call you lazy, they call you good for nothing. They say to you that, oh, I'll get up and go and take some fresh air, or take 2 paracetamols, you're going to be okay. You're not going to be okay, because they don't understand it, because they don't have to deal with it, right? And that's years. And it can make you feel absolutely useless. I'm telling you, at the height of this illness of chronic fatigue syndrome, I was standing No word of a lie. I remember Dean Powell passing away. I heard about the Dean Powell, and Dean Powell, former matchmaker of Frank Warren. He's a good friend. Me and Dean Powell would have calls at night talking about various boxing matches and matchups and stuff while I was living in Grenada. So when I heard about his passing, it was quite painful. I remember once looking. I remember at the train. Again, this was the height of my own illness. Looking down a train track and thinking to myself at the time, I feel so horrible. I feel so bad. What's the point of life? Looking at a train track, who am I going to talk to about all this? But there was also the thing at the other side that was thinking to themselves, you know what? Throwing my life away, think about what I could potentially go and achieve if I could overcome this challenge. But then the mind will say, oh no, what's the point of life? And you're looking at the train track and you're looking at the train and you've heard of so many other people that have taken their life. It is mental health. I tell you something now. It is not fiction, it's real. And it's something that at some stage we all have to face some sort of challenge. Um, and what might be a small challenge to one person might be a huge challenge to someone else. But my message to you would be this: it doesn't rain forever. And a friend said to me, it doesn't rain forever. One day the sun will shine. And how right that person was. And the other thing I was told is just around the corner. It's just around the corner. It's not going to last. You'll get through this and you'll be a better person from it. And it's those sort of words and things that have kept me through the most darkest and difficult times. Even when doing these boxing videos, that people don't understand the sort of mental challenges when you have to go and put out a video or you put out an interview. People always look at you criticizing what you say, how you look, what you do. People who don't even know you come in and leave comments in the comment section. They don't realize how hurtful and how damaging it is. But you know what? I tell these people, and I warn all of you out there, and I'll keep warning you out there. You people that like to leave comments, and you like people like to troll, believe you me, mark my words, what you do today might not influence, you might not feel the influence of it, but your children will probably feel the influence of it. Because what you're doing is you're going out your way to injure another person that you don't know, another person that's done you no harm, but you want to put harm on that person's life. That's okay. It will come back to you and it'll come back to your family, because karma is unbeaten in this world. It's undefeated karma. It doesn't matter about your name. It doesn't matter about how much money you have. It doesn't matter about your connections. Karma will find you in any way, shape, or form it finds you. It find you in your health. It could find you in your love life. It could find you any way. So when you're all doing what you're doing, I feel sorry for you, because it's going to catch up with you, and it does catch up with you. And I don't. What's the word? I don't fear karma, because I don't go out my way intentionally to go and injure somebody. And if you think by leaving, oh, it's just a little comment I left here. Well, guess what? That little comment today will be that little comment that your son or your daughter may read. That little comment that your wife or your husband may read. That little comment that it might be just that little comment that sends them over the edge. So be careful with what you're playing with. The shit you're playing with is fire. Don't do it. I keep telling you, don't do it. But you don't listen, because you haven't got sense. Those who have sense and knowledge understand. This is all about energy. So when you're on there, you're trolling here and there, and you think, haha, don't worry. Everyone gets their share. Nobody leaves. Nobody leaves untouched. I'll tell you that much. So I wanted to say these things, to say overall that there's good out there, and there's some good people, and I've met some really good people in boxing. I really have. Um, and I want to say to you all, thank you so much. I appreciate you all. So moving on. Moving on. Let's go here. So I'm going to get through the comments one by one, but let me just go and scroll back up. This is a BWTM special here tonight. 'Cause I don't really do this often. Big up to John Smith, by the way. Hearn is a scumbag for using Hatton's name. We'll talk about Hatton, yeah. So the second part about Hatton is check out my interview with Tony Cesay. Tony Cesay is a very close friend of mine. Very close friend of mine. Close brother. And he only works about 15 minutes away from me in the boxing gym in Canning Town. And we were planning to do, and we still plan to do to get young people connected to boxing. A lot of them like boxing at our school. When I knew Tony, a very fit young man, used to box. He was an ABA boxer, and he won the ABAs. I think Boxers Repton. And I met Tony through boxing as well. He had trained, worked with Yard as an amateur, worked with, I think, Dubois as an amateur, worked with a lot of top fighters as an amateur trainer. Never turned pro, but he's never turned pro himself. Worked with a lot of fighters, trained a lot of fighters as well. But one thing I love about Tony, he's a community man. He's a man that loves community, loves people, loves to help people. So I was devastated when I went and saw him last week at the gym, in Peacock Gym, paralyzed from the neck down with MND. Shocked. It took me, I knew about it, but it took me about a month to actually get myself together, compose myself, and actually go to see him. So when I saw him in the car and we were getting him out into the wheelchair, I literally had to pull him up with my two hands and put him into the wheelchair, carry him into the gym. I mean, in the middle of it, in one point where he broke down crying about his good friend Ricky Hatton. He was crying and the water was in his eyes. And I was expecting him to get his hand out and wipe. And because I just, not that I'd forgotten, I just didn't want to believe that my friend, my brother, was in this condition. So I obviously had to wipe his eye. It was just, and it could happen to any one of us. So in terms of Ricky Hatton, and again, with my friend Tony here, do check out the interview. You'll find out how Tony Cesay introduced Ricky Hatton to the Gallagher brothers, known as Oasis. So check out that interview. It's a great interview. I think one of my best interviews because, there's a real deeper connection there. And I really appreciate Tony for doing the interview with me. Tony has touched so many boxers' lives around the world. So many. So well connected in boxing. A great guy. So in terms of the Hearn and the Hatton situation, it's just to be expected, to be honest. I don't know why we celebrate these people like they're I don't even celebrate the Prime Minister. Why we celebrate these people like they are gods and we celebrate them like they are immortals? They're not. They're promoters. They're boxing promoters. Their job is to promote boxers. That is it. A great job they do at promoting to get the fighters out. Well, they do a good job, right? But actually, I'm going to tell a lie. I don't think they do a great job. Because I'll tell you something now, yeah? There was a time where boxers were superstars. When I mean superstars, I mean there was crossover appeal. Like, it didn't just box. Like, you would see them on cereal packets. Like, Ali was on cereal packets. And you had the Mike Tyson video game. And there was crossovers. Do you understand? Those fighters crossed over into other sports. I mean, Tyson Fury's kind of done it. Floyd Mayweather kind of did it, but we don't have a lot of superstars where our boxers cross over. And I think that has to do with the promoters themselves. So yeah, we've got fighters, we've got superstars within our own sport, but they're not global where they cross over. Anthony Joshua was that guy to be global, but he fell at the first hurdle, and I kind of warn people about that anyway. So yeah, Crawford has got that ability to now kind of cross over because he's done what he's done with Canelo, but he still has got a way to go in terms of crossing over from boxing to something else, but he's there. Pacquiao has got that where Pacquiao's not only done boxing, he's crossed over into music. De La Hoya sort of had that as sort of charisma as well. Yeah. Rayland, I think El Spence could have had that, but drink and kind of ruin his career. Anyway, let's go on. Next thing to talk about. Worried about Eubank in this fight as he's older now. Happy he's with Bomac though. I think he's older, wiser, and I think if he can get the weight right done properly this time, I think he can stop Benn. So I don't think Ben can change the way that he is. I really don't. But anyway, let's see what we've got here. Next comment. I timed out the Joker in the chat. Okay, hello. Nisha99. Is that Nisha? Or Nisha? Nisha, where are you from? You and Duke McKenzie are usually the voice of reason when it comes to predictions. Well, I don't get them all right, but I try. Tank versus Jake Paul, not boxing. Canelo versus Crawford's boxing, I agree. Oh, my guy. Diola, I thought you gone missing, bro. Oh, I thought you didn't want to talk to me after I got the Crawford connection prediction all wrong. I'm good, brother. It's good to see you. With Canelo, it's always hard to bet against him because even if he's losing, he still wins on scorecards. Agreed. Bivol got 150, 130 after a shutout. Yes. Crawford did say that this good big man beats a good little man is a bit overused. Yeah, he did say that. Shout out to Ultratech and YB. Also would be nice to see a collab again. Yeah, I think we should. Well, in fact, I've seen the YB and we are talking on Twitter. So the YB, Ultratech and BWTM Sports, I think we should do something like that. Definitely do something. Maybe we could do something for Christmas. Let's see what can happen there. I feel lonely. No girl loves me. Yeah, well, I can't help you with that, Kamal. Sorry. What I can say is maybe try Facebook dating. Yeah, try and sign yourself for Facebook dating or maybe Tinder or I don't know. Hi, what is that you're wearing? Headphones? Or headphones for matching top? John Smith, the Ultratech collaboration would be a fire. Yeah, me and Ultratech talk well together. Yeah, I've definitely got back for Ultratech. I think he's talking about moving into boxing, but yeah, Ultratech's the man. I've done some collabs before. We'll go back and do something with Ultratech. Yeah, Legend Killer Rodriguez says, I can tell he's got CTE. Who's that? Hi, bro. Hi, Israeli. Ingram out. Yes, Cameron. Thank you so much, Cameron, for your thumbnails. They have been exciting. But I tell you what, if you could do a thumbnail for this video, it'd be really good. I appreciate it. Use your creative juices. I know you will for this video. Shout out to everyone in chat. ST. Karma always catches. Can you scream as loud as you can? I can. Doesn't mean that I will. Nathan. Just been released today. My brother Drew Peacock tuned in at home watching. Okay. Can you elaborate any more on that? Next thing. Benjamin Shalom. And Eubank Jr. for that point. I think there is a window of opportunity for Benjamin Shalom to redeem himself. When I say redeem himself, because obviously the whole thing with Boxer and Sky TV is unfortunate. However, I'm not surprised that stuff that's happened at Sky. I'm not with Sky. I'm not surprised because of the type of people you're dealing with. I'm not so. Ben Shalom, I'm talking about. Benjamin is his full name. So I'm not surprised. I like Ben Shalom. I've always liked Ben Shalom. Um, and I think Ben needs to take every opportunity that he can to sell himself as a promoter during his whole Ben Eubank 2. He needs to use those windows of opportunities to sell himself as the good guy. He really does. He needs to sell himself clean glass against a dirty glass. He needs to be a guy that advocates strong for Chris Eubank Jr. He really needs to be that guy. He needs to be that guy. And he needs to be ruthless when he does it, but he's got to do it in the Ben Shalom way. I do believe so, because I think if he does, I think things can turn out in Ben Shalom's favour more than he may realise. And what he's going for at the moment is teaching him that the boxing world is full of snakes. I'm sure he's aware of it. And we saw with our own eyes stuff that was happening with Ben Shalom. And you could see that there were certain people that didn't like the position Ben was in with Sky. That was evident. That was evident, right? So I don't know where Sky was positioning himself, whose feet they were trampling on, or wherever there's money, people like to fear of losing certain things and being pushed out of, I don't know, because I obviously I'm not that close to Ben and I'm not into Sky's business, but what I do know is that it is typical when there's a lot of money around, people like to protect their money and protect their assets, and if they feel threatened, then they will do what they can to put the other person down in collaborate. And when you collaborate, two people work together, character assassination. So things that could be said or way Ben could have been portrayed. Character assassination is a very disgusting thing. So I really champion Ben. I hope he comes out on top of all this. I really do, and I hope he can turn a corner, and I hope he can use the Eubank Ben situation to really rubber stamp his brand. Yeah, I really can. Ben Shalom can't mix with Hugh Jass, let alone Hearns and Warrens. What do you think of Phil McCracken? Joshua's old trainer had good fighters. Yeah, McCracken's a good trainer, but he's not a heavyweight trainer. He was good for Froch. He was good for Froch. And he was good to AJ at a point. AJ at a point, I think, should have gone on and worked with a heavyweight trainer, whether that be James Ali Bashir, whether him going to Derek James. But AJ, in my opinion, when he left Rob McCracken, made some very poor decisions. The guys he had around him were not heavyweight experts, and he should have gone, having been in the training camps of Vladimir Klitschko. AJ was in camps of Vladimir Klitschko. How the hell can you be sparring Vladimir Klitschko in the best heavyweight camps, right, with some of the best heavyweights in the world, working with the best heavyweight in the world at the time, Vladimir Klitschko, and end up setting up your cramps so amateur-like? How? 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 AJ had a wealth of boxing knowledge around him, but Spencer, I remember, I think if it was it Spencer Ferron that said that AJ's not around. AJ's not around boxing people. He's around solicitors and lawyers and barristers and people on real estate. He's not around boxing people. So I think AJ was misguided. I think he was misguided by people who didn't have his best interests at heart, but had their best interests at heart. And that's a lot of what happens to a lot of boxers. They listen to people around them that are misguided and that who are ill-informed and just do things because they can keep their peace. Now, for example, he could have gone with James Ali Bashir. James Ali Bashir did a great job with Alexander Usyk. I think he could have done a great job with AJ. I think Derek James could have done a great job with AJ. But by the time Derek James had come with AJ, he was doing damage. He was doing damage limitation. He was repairing the damage that was already done. Do we see the heavyweight belts fragment in 2026? Usyk retirement sets up huge fights with Fury and Joshua at Wembley. Well, before Fury and Joshua fight, Jake Paul may mix that up. Jake Paul may jump in the middle, and it may be AJ versus Jake Paul. Because think about it, Jake Paul, I think Fury can make, AJ can make more money with Jake Paul than he can against Tyson Fury. Think about it. Joshua versus Jake Paul on Netflix, especially after Jake Paul, I think, is going to beat Gervonta Davis. It sounds like it's set up that way. If there is a contract in place that is saying AJ will fight Jake Paul if he beats Gervonta Davis, if that's the stipulation, then you know what's on the cards. AJ versus Jake Paul. So that may be the fight before we get to Tyson Fury. Moses Talma versus Parker on undercard for a title also. I think they're trying to push that fight with Moses Talma versus Jermaine Franklin. I think they're trying to push that fight. I don't think he'll fight Parker yet. What is up, my fellow human? What is your favorite combination and why? Left jab, right hand. Left jab, blind, right hand. So throw the left jab. As you throw the left jab, turn the jab into a blinder so the fighter can't see, and then crash the right hand through the middle. Or left jab, rock back, right hand over the top. Rockabye, baby. Throw the jab, rock back, right hand down the pipe. See, you throw the jab, let them overcommit with the jab. So jab, let them overcommit with the jab, bring them forward, bang, rock them onto the right hand, and then finish up with the left hook, and then come back with the right hand. Love that combination. It's beautiful. Hrgovic versus Wilder, not going to happen. Not going to happen. Wilder looked like he's going to fight Andy Ruiz. So the fight that, I think Wilder's either going to fight Ruiz, or he's going to go and fight, what's this other guy's name? Francis Ngannou. Yeah. And that's a guy who I think, in my opinion, was drugged. I feel he was drugged on Francis Ngannou. Because he went and did what he did to Tyson Fury, and that was not part of the script. So they thought, right, you can't get away with that. You got to come back, and then go and fight AJ. And Ngannou looked nothing like the guy that fought Fury. Yeah, I think they did. I really think they did dirty on AJ. Might not be aware of it, but I think they did Francis Ngannou dirty. I really do. There's a few fighters I think that's happened to, but Ngannou was one of them. Any thoughts? Well, thoughts on boxing. What other things are happening in boxing at the moment? James DeGale fighting in BKB is another one. Why are these professional boxers fighting in BKB? Why would you do that? You say you feel you've got something you have to show in boxing. Why do you come back into boxing? Why are you going to BKB? Same with flipping Frankie Gavin. I couldn't believe Frankie Gavin get knocked out in a round. He looked like, not being funny, Frankie Gavin looked like he really had a hard life. And then got knocked out in BKB. I don't understand why these fighters are going to BKB. Lucas Brown, another one. Why? Former world champion. Why are you going to BKB? I guess you must be getting paid lots of money. But I don't understand it. Is it that bad in boxing that you've been that shut out that you can't go and come back and box? I don't know. Don't know. And Parker versus Wardley, I think I spoke about this already. I say fighters fighting patterns. I've said it before and I'll say it again. And usually fighters give you an idea of how to beat them before you beat them. So the fight with Justice Hooney was the blueprint of how to beat Fabio Wardley. Parker just has to watch that. Parker's got better, he punches much harder than Hooney. He throws better combinations than Hooney. He's got a better gas tank than Hooney. Probably got a better chin than Hooney. Yeah, Parker should knock Wardley out, to be honest. Wardley's getting hit with some big shots, and Hooney can't punch. Wardley's got some lot of holes in his defense. Parker's just got to be careful he doesn't walk onto one. And he has walked. If you can get hit by a Zhang and get dropped, if you can get dropped by Joe Joyce, then he can get dropped by Wardley. So it's a dangerous fight for Parker. But if he picks his moments, he can stop Wardley. Yeah, those are my thoughts on that. Right, let me get out of here. Thank you all for watching. This has been BWTM. I've gone for an hour. My God. This has been BWTM Sports Gaming. I'm going to go over to my BWTM Gaming channel, and I'm going to do some Football Manager. Thank you all for watching. It's been a blast. Take care.